You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Hello there, my name is Davey and I am one of the hosts on the BQN Podcast Network. Welcome to our first ever Hive Mind Presents, the BQN Table Read Spectacular. This is an event that we host once a month for our BQN Network patrons where we get together and read the screenplay of a famous Star Trek episode. So, our first table read was a reading of the TNG Season 4 episode, The Drumhead. Now, it has myself in the role of Worf and of Sabine, who was one of Admiral Satie's aides. Admiral Satie herself is played by Matt Jennings from Cinema Z, who also takes on the role of Data from time to time. We have also got Thad from Infinite Diversity as a stunning Captain Picard, and also popping in as Geordi from time to time. We have got the wonderful Amy Nelson from All Good Things and the View Screen as our narrator, and also as a little bit of Counselor Troy. She only has one line in the beginning, unfortunately. We have network patron Peter, who plays the roles of Riker and of the Klingon Jadan. And we also have from the View Screen, we have Kristen, who plays the role of Simon Tarsus, also the role of Satie's other aide, Nellen, and of Beverly Crusher. You will notice from time to time that there is a little bit of role swapping. When we had scenes where two people were playing the same character off each other, we quickly pivoted where we had to. Please enjoy the BQN Hive Mind Presents The Drumhead.
Captain's log started at 44769.2. For some weeks, we have had a Klingon exobiologist on board as part of a scientific exchange program. Unfortunately, we suspect that he may have been involved not only in a security breach, but a possible sabotage of our warp drive.
Interrogation room. Riker and Troy are questioning. Worf stands by the door. In the hot seat is a young Klingon civilian, Jadan. He is wearing a Starfleet communicator.
What were you doing accessing the propulsion system files on Stardate 44758?
I didn't.
But you did, from computer 12B9 on deck 36. The computer logged in your identification from your communicator.
It must be a mistake.
Jadan, we have confirmed reports that schematic drawings of our dilithium chamber fell into Romulan hands 1 week later.
I know nothing about it.
And you don't know anything about the explosion that disabled the warp drive at almost the same time?
No, I was not involved. You accuse me because I am a Klingon.
Troy shakes her head. Our chief security officer is Klingon, Jadan. That has nothing to do with it.
Send me home then if you are so distrusting.
We've discussed that with the Klingon High Council. You'll be sent back as soon as we finish our investigation.
I have nothing more to say.
Very well. Mr. Worf, please accompany the lieutenant to his quarters.
Worf comes forward and Jadan rises. They exit. Riker turns to Troy.
What do you think?
It's hard to tell. He is very closed, but... Troy is silent for a moment, tapping into her feelings. He is hiding something. Worf and Jadan ride in silence for a bit. Jadan keeps sneaking looks at Worf, stares straight ahead.
On the Klingon homeworld, your name is not mentioned. It is as though you've never existed.
Worf shifts a little, impatiently, but makes no reply.
A terrible burden for a warrior to bear, to become nothing, without honor, without the chance for glory.
The turbo lift stops and the doors open. Worf exits and turns to glare at Jadan until he follows. In the corridor, the two proceed.
I have friends, powerful friends, on the homeworld.
No answer.
I could talk to them. They might help to restore your name.
Silence.
If you could just take me to a shuttlecraft.
They have reached Jadan's quarters. The door is open. Worf gestures to Jadan to precede him. There is a hesitation. Then they enter.
It could be done without anyone knowing.
But suddenly, Worf has pulled some swift Klingon martial arts move, and Jadan is thrown back against the wall, with Worf pinning him solidly, nose to nose.
I do not know how you managed to transfer secret information to the Romulans, but I will find out.
Patak!
And when we inform the Klingon High Council, they will put you to a slow death.
He holds Jadan against the wall for a fierce instant, then releases him and exits. As he follows Worf's exit with a vitriolic look.
An SAT word there.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Act 1. A Federation craft hovers near the Enterprise.
Retired Admiral Nora Sati, whose investigation exposed the alien conspiracy against Starfleet Command 3 years ago, is arriving to assist in our investigation.
Picard and Riker watch as a group materializes on the pad. Sabine Genestra, a Betazoid man, Nellen Tor, a female assistant, and Admiral Nora Sati, retired. She surveys the waiting group before her, finds Picard, and smiles radiantly. Nora Sati is middle-aged, a beautiful woman who has become more so with maturity. Oh, just like me. She is gracious. She is gracious, elegant, and decidedly feminine. Her smile is generous, bespeaking warmth and intelligence. She moves towards Picard.
Captain Picard.
He takes her hand.
Admiral Sati, welcome to the Enterprise.
I am delighted to be here. I have managed to acquire my former staff, my aide, Sabine Genestra from Beta Z, my assistant, Nell Tor from Delp 2.
And my first officer, Commander William Riker. May I show you to your quarters?
Captain, if Starfleet Command is so concerned with your report that they brought me out of retirement, I think I should get right to work.
Very well. Commander, will you see to the Admiral's staff?
Riker turns to the others as...
First, I'd like to inspect the damage to your engine room.
And she heads for the door with Picard close at her heels. Data and Geordi oversee a scene which finds the section isolation door between the dilithium chamber and the pool table area closed. Behind the door, there are clouds of gas and the hatch of the chamber has been blown off.
We still can't get in there, Captain. The radiation levels are dropping, but they're just too high to raise the isolation door. How much longer will it be?
At the rate the levels have been decreasing, we will be able to gain entry in 49 hours.
Maybe the Admiral would like to see the visual log of the explosion.
Sati acknowledges. They move to a wall monitor and Geordi punches in commands.
This was logged 4 days ago, at 0300 hours.
It is a video of dilithium chamber, maybe a time code in the corner, MOS. They wait, and then suddenly the hatch of the chamber blows off across the room.
At that point, the emergency confinement field was activated, and the isolation doors came down. No one was killed, but 2 of my people are in sickbay with radiation burns.
Have you been able to make any preliminary assessment?
A slow motion study of the explosion suggests that articulation frame collapsed.
The schematics that were stolen from the Enterprise, I believe some involve the articulation frame of the dilithium chamber.
That is one reason we tend to suspect sabotage.
Other evidence lends credence to that theory, Captain. A review of the sensor logs indicates that every system reading was well within normal parameters until 52 milliseconds before the explosion.
We haven't found anything that suggests there was a malfunction anywhere along the line.
Sati turns towards Picard.
Captain Picard, I think I need a full briefing before we go any further.
She looks through the isolation door at the grim evidence of destruction.
Commander Data, LaForge, I'll admit I'm glad I don't have to do your job. Good luck.
In sickbay, Worf enters and approaches Beverly, who is examining a patient on the biobed. He is swathed in wraps, which suggest burns. In the background is Simon Tarsis, a mild-looking humanoid working at a monitor.
Excuse me, Doctor.
Yes, Lieutenant?
When you have a moment, I must ask you something.
Good timing. I'm finished here. Mr. Tarsus,
Tarsus approaches from the monitor.
please enter these readings into Ensign Daggett's files. Yes, Doctor.
He takes the tricorder, and Beverly and Worf move off together.
What is it, Worf?
He shows her an object.
Did you issue this to Jajan?
Beverly takes the object, inspects it.
Looks like a micro-replicating hyposyringe, but it's not Starfleet issue.
It was found in his quarters.
Jadon has Boxmore syndrome. He comes in regularly for treatments, but we use our own hypersprays. Is this one Klingon?
Yes. Do you know what this attachment is?
Worf indicates a small connection on the syringe.
No, it's nothing we use.
Worf seems satisfied with the answer.
Thank you, Doctor.
I hope that helps.
You've told me exactly what I wanted to hear.
And he exits as Beverly looks after him, perplexed. In the ready room, Picard and Sati are briefing and has been continuing for some time.
There are disturbing overtones to the idea of a Klingon providing information to the Romulans.
She keeps her eyes on Picard, revealing nothing.
Are you aware of any other Romulan-Klingon connections that Starfleet Command might have encountered recently?
I don't believe what Starfleet Command knows or doesn't know is for me to reveal.
This ship has had several encounters which might suggest a potential alliance between those two powers.
We are aware of that, Captain. What we must concentrate on is the business at hand.
Ding! The doors open and Worf enters, sees the Admiral, stops.
Excuse me, Captain. I didn't know.
Please, come in, Mr. Worf. I particularly want our guest to meet you. Admiral Sati, my head of security, Lieutenant Worf.
Nods of acknowledgement.
Captain, I have been pursuing the investigation of Lieutenant Jadan. I believe I know how he transported information off the Enterprise.
Good work, Lieutenant.
This is Jadan's. It is fitted with an optical reader, specifically modified to read data from Starfleet isolinear chips.
Sati takes the syringe and inspects it.
He can extract digital information from a computer, encode it in the form of amino acid sequences, and transfer those sequences into a fluid in the syringe. Then he injects someone, perhaps even without their knowledge.
Or perhaps with the knowledge.
The information would be carried in their bloodstream in the form of inert proteins.
The body itself becomes a conveyor of top-secret files.
She turns towards Worf, obviously impressed.
Lieutenant Worf, when we confront Jadan, I want you to conduct the interrogation.
I would be honored.
Worf nods to the two and exits. Sati turns to Picard.
Captain, I predict that officer will be extremely valuable in this investigation.
Picard has no reason to doubt it. Several days later in the interrogation room, arranged to accommodate more questions, Sati and Sabine, Picard and Worf. Off to one side sits Nellan, constantly taking notes. Jadan is once again in the hot seat as Worf stands over him. They look like they've been at it a while.
I tracked the movements of each person who left the Enterprise since you've been here. I traced one Tarkanian diplomat as far as the Crucius system, where he disappeared and has not been seen since.
That proves nothing.
Worf produces the syringe. Jadan eyes it warily.
This was found in your quarters.
I take injections. Everyone knows that.
But your injections don't require an optical chip reader. This device has only one function: to transform computer information into biological sequences.
Worf has nailed him. Jadan knows it now. No reason to hold back now. He speaks with the fervor of a patriot.
The blood of all Klingons have become water. Since the Federation Alliance, we have become a nation of mewling babies. The Romulans are strong. They are worthy allies. They do not turn Klingons into weaklings like you.
Sati rises, crosses to Jadan.
How did you damage the dilithium chamber?
I had nothing to do with that.
No? You mean it was sheer coincidence that it was sabotaged after you gave the plans for its design to the Romulan?
I do not know. I had nothing to do with it.
You've admitted your crime. Why lie now?
I am not lying.
She regards him calmly for a moment, then nods, finished, to Picard.
You may have him confined, Mr. Worf.
Only too happy to do so. Worf leads Jadan from the room. Sati approaches Sabine.
Sabine.
I believe he is telling the truth.
A moment while they absorb this.
He admits stealing the files, but not sabotaging the dilithium chamber. I get no sense that he is lying.
Picard considers the ramifications of this statement.
If you're right, someone else may be involved.
I think, Captain, that you have a bigger problem on your ship than one Klingon exchange officer.
And as Picard considers the dire implications of that possibility, we fade out. We're in later Admiral's quarters. Picard with Nora Satie. They have finished an informal supper. She rises and brings a tray of coffee things. During the next, she pours them a twist of rind of lemon into her own. She looks lovely tonight, fragile and delicate, like a piece of porcelain. Am I really reading this right?
What? Is this how it was written?
Wow. She is a woman who has the capacity to be both forceful and vulnerable.
I've seen this before. Spective conspiracy on a starship is a frightening one.
It's hard for me to believe, but I am grateful for your presence, Admiral. If anyone in Starfleet can help us, it's you.
Captain Picard, I find myself changing my mind about you.
In what way?
When Starfleet ordered me here, it was with express command that we work together on this problem, as equals. My father taught me to avoid partnerships. Most of them are woefully lopsided.
That sounds like Judge Aaron Satie.
You knew my father?
Through his writing, his judicial decisions were required reading at the Academy.
He was an extraordinary man. Every night at the dinner table, he'd pose a question for debate. My big brothers and I would wrangle it around from one side and the other. My father would referee. He kept a stopwatch on us, so we'd have to learn brevity. And he wouldn't let us leave until we thought we had completely explored the issue.
I'm willing to wager you trounced your brothers at those debates.
Oh, more than once. My father would love it when I nailed one of them on some subtle point of logic. All that I am, I owe to him. He was a giant.
You must miss him very much.
She looks quickly at him, his words striking at her rawest place. Unaccustomed tears threaten to sting her eyes, and she rises quickly, clearing the dishes, changing the subject.
I like you, Mr. Worf. Very direct, to the point. The two of you make a good combination.
She slips back into her seat, looks him in the eye.
Captain, I've always preferred working alone. That way, if something goes wrong, I don't have to look far for a cause. I resented your being assigned to me, but I was wrong. I'm going to make quite a team.
The warmth of her smile is infectious. Picard returns it. In the observation lounge, Worf showing Sabine the ship's roster.
Jadan did not make friends easily. There are not many to question.
You've done a thorough job, Lieutenant.
I am strongly motivated in this matter.
Yes, I can see that. And I don't mind telling you, I'm surprised. Frankly, I first heard about your father.
My father?
Yes, there are some who believe he betrayed your people to the Romulans.
My father. What he did or did not do is no one's concern but my own.
Of course. I only meant... Before I saw you in action, I naturally considered you a possible security risk. But I want you to know you have the Admiral's and my complete confidence. You have nothing to prove to us.
He means exactly the opposite of what he's saying. Sabine wants Worf to feel that he has to be even more patriotic than anyone by rooting out the enemy.
If there is a conspiracy on board, I promise you I will find it.
Good. You know the ship, you know the personnel, you know exactly what we're up against. We're counting on you, Lieutenant.
I will arrange for the interviews to begin.
He exits. Stay a beat on Sabine, who nods to himself, pleased with the way that went. Several days later, the same group, Picard, Satie, Sabine, Worf, are interviewing Beverly. Nellen is in the corner, taking notes.
How often did Lieutenant Jadan come in for injections?
About once a week.
Did you administer them yourself?
No, one of my assistants did that.
Did you ever hear him say anything? Anything that might have seemed innocent at the time, that might now shed any light on this investigation?
No, nothing. In fact, he rarely talked at all.
Satie nods. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Crusher. We appreciate your time. You are excused now. Mr. Wolf, will you bring in the next person?
Beverly gets up, and Worf escorts her to the door. She exits, and Worf admits Simon Tarsus.
Please sit down, Mr. Tarsus. For the record, will you state your name and position?
Simon Tarsus, crewman, first-class medical technician.
I assure you this is an informal inquiry. We're not accusing you of anything. However, if you want counsel, it will be provided for you.
Tarsus sits, looks around nervously. It's clear he's pretty shook up about this.
No, sir, I have nothing to hide.
Very well. How long have you held your appointment on the Enterprise?
Since stardate 43587 Mark 88.
Mr. Tarsus, your records state that you were born on Mars colony?
That's right.
Then you're human.
Largely, my paternal grandfather was Vulcan.
Yes, I see that here. Tell me, what is your relationship to the Klingon Jadan?
Tarsus looks uncomfortable at this question and becomes more nervous.
I mean, there's no relationship. He just came in for his injections.
Did you give him those injections yourself?
Sometimes. There were several of us, actually. I might have done it twice.
Did you ever hear him make any comments that might, in retrospect, be suspicious?
Not really. He hardly talked.
Did you ever see him outside sickbay?
Once or twice in 10-4 with a group of people. I never had a conversation with him.
Very well, Mr. Tarsus. I don't think there's need for more. Captain?
Your excuse, crewman.
A grateful Tarsus gets up and exits.
Mr. Worf.
Wait,
All heads turn towards him.
he's lying.
Picard frowns, surprised. Sati leans forward, immediately responsive, looks curiously at Sabine.
He's desperately frightened. He's covering up something.
It was clear he was frightened, but that's hardly an indication.
It's more than that. He wasn't truthful. He's covering a lie. One so big it's overwhelming him.
He turns towards Sati.
I think we've found the man.
Sati reacts with satisfaction, and Worf is pleased that they've uncovered the prey. But Picard doesn't share the feeling of conquest, is clearly uncomfortable with what has just happened. Act 3, in the ready room, Picard and Sati.
I'm not sure I can sanction any action against Mr. Tarsus based solely on Betazoid intuition.
Sabine has uncanny instincts. I've learned to trust them.
I must admit that I'm a bit uneasy with this use of a Betazoid.
You have a Betazoid counselor. Surely you are aware of the advantages.
There is a difference between a counselor and an investigator.
Are you saying you never use your counselor during interrogations?
Of course he does. He is forced to think about this.
I do, but I don't act on the basis of her instincts alone.
Nor do I.
You're asking me to restrict Tarsus's movements based on Sabine's feeling.
If Counselor Troy suggested to you that someone on the ship were dangerous, would you not act on that? Observe him. Curb his activity.
Picard confronts this. He's not sure he likes what he sees.
I have to admit I probably would, and maybe I should reevaluate that behavior.
Nonsense. Let's keep our priorities straight. The important thing is to uncover the conspiracy on this ship and prevent further damage. If Tarsus is a possible saboteur, you cannot allow him access to the sensitive areas of the ship. And I strongly suggest continuous surveillance.
Picard paces, wrestles with this.
If we had better evidence.
We will have better evidence. Sabine and Worf are continuing to investigate. But if you don't act until then, it may be too late.
No, I won't treat a man as a criminal unless there is a probable cause to do so.
And while you're being so generous, you give a saboteur the chance to strike again. Last time, it was just a hatch cover. What if next time it's more serious? What if lives are lost? Can you afford not to act?
But before Picard can respond, Geordi's calm voice, engineering to Captain Picard.
Yes, Mr. LaForge.
Geordi's calm voice, Sir, could you come to engineering right away? We've got something interesting to show you. Picard exchanges a quick glance with Sati.
We'll be right there.
In engineering, Data and Geordi, Picard and Sati. The isolation door is now up, though the dilithium chamber hatch is still missing.
We finally got in here about 6 hours ago, and we've been going over it inch by inch ever since.
We have made microtomographic analysis of the dilithium chamber, the hatch mounting, the blast pattern from the explosion.
We did mass spectrometer readings of the residue for chemical content, sifted the debris for bomb fragments.
What did you find?
Jordy picks up a tricorder and gestures them toward the crystal chamber housing.
See the frame from the hatch? It ruptured right there. And when we take a reading of that spot...
He plays the tricorder over the spot, then shows the reading to Picard and Sati.
See?
I'm afraid I'm out of my element here, Commander. You'll have to interpret for me.
There are submicron fractures in the metal casing. That's right! A breakdown in the atomic cohesive structure.
Yes. And what caused them?
Those fractures suggest nothing more than simple neutron fatigue. I would speculate that when the engine was last inspected at McKinley Station, the hatch casing was replaced with one which had an undetectable defect. I think, sir, that the conclusion of our investigation must be that the explosion was not intentional.
That's the way I see it. This wasn't sabotage at all. It was nothing more than an accident.
Picard is surprised, but relieved. However, Admiral Sati's reaction seems tinged with disappointment. In the observation lounge, Picard, Sati, Worf, and Sabine, and Nellen, of course.
An accident? I find that hard to believe.
If my men say there was no sabotage, then you can be sure there was none.
There's a little click on the pad. Click! Or a shift on the chair by Nellen, and Picard shoots a glance towards her. She is getting on his nerves.
Let's keep our perspective, gentlemen. Just because there was no sabotage doesn't mean there's not conspiracy on this ship. We do have a confessed spy.
And he had Confederates.
Do we know that for sure?
Of course he did.
She moves closer to Picard.
Do you think Jadan could have come on board the flagship of the Federation and done all that he did without help?
It would be difficult, but not impossible.
We must continue to investigate Tarsus. He was hiding something.
Picard gives him a look. He realizes Worf is solidly behind Sati and Sabine in this.
Captain Picard, Lieutenant Worf and I are working well together. I suggest we continue, if for no other purpose than to determine Tarsus's innocence.
I remind you all that Tarsus is innocent until he is proven guilty.
Of course he is. What Sabine is saying is that he and Lieutenant Worf would like to establish Tarsus' innocence unequivocally, for his own sake.
Picard can certainly see the wisdom in this.
Very well, but I hope we can put the matter to rest as quickly as possible.
A day later, in the interrogation room, Picard enters to find Sati, Sabine, and Worf already seated in the front table. Tarsus is in the witness seat, and next to him sits Riker. To Picard's surprise, there is a small gathering of spectators in the rear of the room, which includes Beverly. He moves to his seat, addresses Sati quietly.
You've opened the hearing to spectators.
It isn't good to have closed-door proceedings for too long. It invites rumor and speculation.
Picard nods. This makes sense.
Besides, spies and saboteurs don't like the bright light of public inquiry. They're like roaches, scuttling for the dark corners.
With this, she turns away and begins talking to Sabine. Picard is disquieted and feeling more and more uncomfortable about the whole thing.
This hearing is convened on Stardate 44740 as a continuing inquiry into the activities of crewman Simon Tarsus. Mr. Tarsus, for your own protection, I have assigned you counsel in the person of Commander William Riker.
Begging your pardon, sir. I appreciate it, but I don't need protection. I haven't done anything wrong.
In the back of the room, Beverly stands.
With the captain's permission, I would like to make a statement.
Sati is not too thrilled by this.
This is irregular. Let's stick to the procedure here.
It's not irregular to have a statement read into the record. This is a hearing, not a trial.
Doctor, you may come forward.
Sati gives Picard a look, but controls her reaction to the rebuff. Beverly comes to the front of the room. She catches Tarsus's eye for a brief moment and smiles sympathetically at him.
Thank you. I would like to go on record as saying that I have worked with crewman Tarsus for 18 months. His work has been exemplary. He is a model of diligence and reliability. He is devoted to Starfleet, and as far as I'm concerned, his loyalty is without question. There's no way this man is a traitor.
She glances down at him, and he looks up at her with gratitude.
Thank you for letting me speak.
She turns to go back to her seat, but
Dr. Crusher, did you ever observe crewman Tarsus with Jadan?
Beverly looks shocked by this question.
Well, yes, he came in for his injections.
I mean, outside sickbay.
I think so, maybe in 10 forward.
And whom else did you observe at these occasions, Doctor?
Now Beverly really hesitates. She doesn't like the course this questioning is taking.
I don't see the relevance that has here. It was an innocent social gathering.
If it was innocent, why would you hesitate to give us the names?
This is enough for Picard.
Thank you, Dr. Crusher. You are excused.
Sati turns towards him, tickled, and they have another Soto conversation.
Admiral Sati, if you have a case to make against Tarsus, I suspect you better make it, or I am calling this off here and now.
Her cheeks flame, but she turns towards Sabine, nods.
Mr. Tarsus, isn't it true that you have had access to the biological supplies in sickbay?
Yes, that's part of my job, yes.
Jadan used Dixie Roboys suspensions to carry the encoded files he stole. Isn't it true that one of your duties is to prepare those suspensions?
Several technicians share that job.
And isn't it true that your security clearance gives you access to all the stores and files in sickbay? Access which you can exercise at any time.
Because I have access doesn't mean I...
What would you say if I told you there is evidence that the explosion in the engine room was caused by a corrosive chemical, one that is kept stored in sickbay?
Picard's head whips around to Sati, but she looks straight ahead.
I had nothing to do with it.
How can we believe you? How can we possibly believe someone whom we know to be a liar?
I object, sir. There is no basis for calling Officer Tarsus a liar.
Agreed, Mr. Sabine!
Captain, there is a basis which will be clear in a moment. Mr. Tarsus, isn't it true that you deliberately lied when you filled out your personal application and compounded that lie by repeating it to this committee?
Tarsus is ashen.
What?
Isn't it? Isn't it true that the paternal grandfather of whom you speak was not Vulcan, but was in fact a Romulan? That it is Romulan blood you carry and a Romulan heritage that you honor?
There is a buzz in the audience. Tarsus, pale, stares at Sabine. Riker leans in and whispers in his ear. Tarsus has to force his attention away from Sabine, concentrate on what Riker is saying.
We're waiting, Mr. Tarsus.
Tarsus turns away from Riker, looks back at the table.
On advice of my counsel, I refuse to answer the question that the answer may serve to incriminate me.
He slumps, anguished in his chair. On Picard, stunned by the development and by the ugly turn he has seen take place in the conduct of his hearing. End of Act 3. Oh, that was intense, you guys. You guys are so good.
Deoxyribose, by the way.
Thank you.
Technobabble.
No, it's
Medical babble.
There is a pronunciation guide at the top of the script. I should have taken note of that.
All right, Act 4. Picard exits the turbo lift, and almost immediately an ensign, having exited the observation lounge, hurries along the corridor past him. Picard continues towards the lounge when the doors open, and another ensign comes in, hurrying out and toward the turbo lift. Picard pauses to look after him, and right away another one comes out. Puzzled, Picard enters the observation lounge. In the observation lounge, Worf is there at the head of the table. Several crew members stand near him, carrying pads.
Ensign Bailey, you and crewman Marcus will coordinate to track Tarsus's movements for the last 5 years. Ensign Kellogg's Fruit Loops, I want a list of all his relatives, his known associates, especially old school friends.
The crew persons are taking notes frantically.
And make arrangements to do an fucking hell, an encephalophagic polygraph scan.
Encephalographic, I think.
Yeah,
Encephalographic. That's exactly what he said.
Encephalographic polygraphs.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes, Captain.
I need to speak with you.
Worf hesitates, understands that he means alone, and turns to the crew.
You are dismissed. Please get your reports to me as soon as possible.
They disperse, and Picard moves towards Worf.
What is going on here?
Captain, I am conducting the investigation of Simon Tarsus.
Picard regards him solemnly, moves to the window.
What has happened to us, Mr. Wolf?
Sir?
I think we're putting on a Drumhead trial.
I don't understand.
500 years ago, military officers would append a drum on the battlefield, sit at it, and dispense summary justice. Decisions were quick, punishments severe, appeals denied. Those who came to the Drumhead were doomed.
But we know there is a traitor here. Jadan has admitted his guilt.
That's true, and he will stand for his crimes.
Tarsus has all but done the same.
How?
He refused to answer the question about his Romulan grandfather.
That is not a crime, Worf. Nor can we infer his guilt because he did not respond.
If a man is not afraid of the truth, he would answer.
No, we must not let ourselves think that. The seventh guarantee is one of the most important rights granted by the Federation. We cannot use one of the fundamental principles of our Constitution and turn it against a Sorry, I get carried away being all self-righteous here. We cannot use one of the fundamental principles of our Constitution and turn it against a citizen.
Worf is struggling to understand.
Sir, the Federation does have enemies. We must seek them out.
Yes, that's how it starts. But the road from legitimate suspicion to rampant paranoia is shorter than we might think. Something is wrong here, Worf. I don't like what we have become.
Worf regards him, much more uncertain now as to his course. In Picard's quarters, Picard carries tea to a seated Simon Tarsus, who is almost as uneasy about a visit to the captain's quarters as he is about his predicament.
There you are, Mr. Tarsus. Do you care for lemon?
No, thank you, sir. This is fine.
Picard settles into a chair opposite, smiles at Tarsus. He wants to put the young man at ease.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Truman. I know you were born on Mars Colony.
Yes, sir. All my life, I wanted to be in Starfleet. I went to the Academy's program for enlisted personnel. I took training as a medical technician, served at several outposts, and the day I was posted to the Enterprise was the happiest day of my life.
Did you ever consider applying to the Academy, going the whole route and becoming an officer?
My parents wanted me to, and I thought about it. I used to sit under this big tree near the parade grounds.
An elm tree with circular branches?
That's the one.
I spent many an hour there. It was my favorite spot to study.
I used to sit and watch the drills and picture myself an officer. I knew it would make my mother happy.
But you didn't do it.
No, I was 18 and eager. The last thing I wanted to do was spend 4 years sitting in classrooms. I wanted to be out there, traveling the stars. I didn't want to wait for anything.
He's lost himself for a moment, remembering his youthful eagerness. Then it catches up to him again. This nightmare that he's living now. He turns to Picard in distress.
And now it's done, isn't it? My career in Starfleet is finished.
Not if you aren't guilty.
It doesn't matter. I lied on my application, and that mistake will be with me for the rest of my life.
He shakes his head, abject and defeated.
I couldn't wait to get started. And now it's over.
Picard regards him with sympathy, but there's little he can say to argue. A little later in the corridor, Sati and Nellen hurry along, the Admiral dictating and Nellen tapping furiously.
Mr. Worf has found a brother who still lives on Mars colony. Contact someone there and have him interviewed.
Picard hails them from behind. Sati turns her head and sees him, but keeps walking and completes her thought to Nellen.
And start background checks into all his friends from the Academy training program.
Picard is now caught up to them.
Yes, Captain.
The three come to a halt in the corridor. Picard glances at Nellen, who is still tapping, but addresses Sati.
I'd like to talk to you.
Of course.
She stands waiting.
In private.
Pointedly, he reaches out and takes Nellen's pad.
And off the record.
Sati is momentarily startled, but her aplomb is always at her fingertips.
Of course, Captain. After all, you are my partner in this.
And she turns and heads towards a turbolift. He follows. In the ready room, Sati is staring at Picard as though he has gone mad.
I cannot possibly believe you mean this.
But I do. This must stop. It's gone too far. You lied to him about the engine room. There was no volatile chemical found there.
It's just a tactic, a way of applying pressure.
We are hounding an innocent man.
And how, may I ask, have you managed to determine that?
I talked with him.
A soft breath escapes her, short of a laugh, but full of derision.
I see. And he told you he was a victim of circumstance. Blameless and pure.
No. He admits his mistake in falsifying his application, but that doesn't make him a traitor.
She stares at him, smiling a bit, shaking her head in wonder.
Can you be so incredibly naive?
She circles towards him, speaking gently as though talking to a child.
Captain, do you know how I have spent the last 4 years? Traveling from planet to starbase to planet.
She moves away again into her restless pacing.
I have no home. I live on starships and shuttlecraft. I haven't seen family members in years. I have no friends.
She turns back to him.
But I have a purpose. My father taught me, from the time I was a little girl still clutching a blanket, that the United Federation of Planets is the most remarkable institution ever conceived. It is my cause to make sure that this extraordinary union is preserved.
She moves closer to him.
I cannot imagine why you are suddenly trying to block this investigation. There have been others in the past who got in the way. They came to regret it.
The hearings on Simon Tarsus must stop. If necessary, I will go to Starfleet Command.
Captain, I have news for you. I've been in constant contact with Starfleet Command, and the hearings aren't going to stop. They're going to be expanded.
Picard is taken aback.
What are you saying?
I'm going to get to the heart of this conspiracy, if it means investigating every last person on this ship, and every hearing from now on will be held in the presence of Admiral Thomas Henry of Starfleet Security. I've requested that he be brought here at once.
You never told me about this.
I report directly to Starfleet Command. I do not require your permission or your approval for my decisions.
Admiral, what you are doing here is unethical. It's immoral, and I will fight it.
Her eyes all but crackle. She moves towards him.
Do what you must, Captain. And so will I.
She turns and exits without another word. Picard is deeply unsettled by what has happened. On the bridge, a little later, Picard sits in his chair, lost in a brown study.
What does that mean?
What is a brown?
Lost in a what study?
Brown study?
Lost?
You sure this is happening on the bridge?
You're not here to kink shame, Davey.
Oh my gosh. Well, he is sitting on a chair on his throne.
The warp engines are back online. We are ready to commence restart sequences.
No answer from Picard. Data turns around to him.
Sir,
Yes? Oh, yes, Mr. Data. Proceed.
Riker leans towards him. Above the turbolift door opens.
Are you all right, Captain?
Yes, of course. Just a bit preoccupied.
And now Nellen rounds the ramp and approaches Picard, hands him a pad. He takes it, puzzled.
Admiral Sati has ordered you to report to the interrogation room at 0900 hours tomorrow morning. You are to be questioned before the committee.
Picard stares at her, stunned. Nellen gives nothing away, not a smirk or a twitch, but underneath there is a palpable sense of triumph. Fade out. In the interrogation room, now there are more people in the gallery, including a graying Starfleet admiral. At the head table are only Sati and Sabine. Worf is in the audience, and in the hot seat, Picard.
Your full name,
Jean-Luc Picard,
rank and position.
Captain, Federation Starship Enterprise.
How long have you held that post?
Over 3 years since Stardate 41140.
Very well. Admiral?
But before she can begin questioning,
If you don't mind, I would like to address the committee.
If you have a statement, you'll get an opportunity to make it later.
I believe that Chapter 4, Article 12 of the Uniform Code of Justice grants me the right to make a statement before questioning begins.
she stares icily at him, but knows he is right.
Very well.
Picard rises and approaches the head table. His manner is soothing. Clearly, he's trying to calm things down, not inflame them.
I am deeply concerned by what is happening here. It began when we apprehended a spy, a man who admitted his guilt and who will answer for his crime. But the hunt didn't stop there. Another man, Simon Tarsis, was brought to trial, and it was a trial, no matter what others may call it.
He pauses, picking his way carefully through his minefield.
Unfortunately, it was a trial based on insinuation and innuendo. Nothing substantive against Crewman Tarsis was offered, much less proven.
He walks towards Tarsis, who sits in the audience.
This man has a Romulan grandfather. For that, his career stands in ruins. Have we become so fearful? Have we become so cowardly that we must extinguish a man because he carries the blood of a current enemy?
He paces back and forth in front of the table.
I remind you, we are not descended from cowardly people. We come from those who are willing to think the unthinkable, speak the unspeakable, and to defend with passion ideas and causes which were at the moment unpopular.
He moves towards Sati, a final, urgent plea.
Admiral, let us not condemn Simon Tarsis or anyone else on the basis of half-truth. I implore you, do not continue with this proceeding. End it here.
He returns to his seat. The Starfleet admiral waits with a grim, thoughtful look on his face. Sabine turns to Nora, who is looking down, fiddling with a pad, making little notations, seemingly unaffected by Picard's words.
Captain Picard, do you believe in the Prime Directive?
Of course.
In fact, it is Starfleet General Order Number 1, isn't it?
Your point, Admiral?
Would it surprise you to learn that you have violated the Prime Directive a total of 9 times since you took command of the Enterprise? I must say, Captain, it surprised the hell out of me.
My reports to Starfleet document the circumstances in each of those instances.
Yes, we're looking into those reports, Captain, very closely into those reports, after which I'm sure we'll have more questions for you about your so-called commitment to Starfleet's Prime Directive.
She glances at the Starfleet admiral for approval. She doesn't get it. He's waiting to see where this goes. He looks at her evenly as...
Captain, could you explain just what happened on Stardate 44390?
Excuse me?
Let me refresh your memory. You were transporting a Vulcan ambassador to Pell?
I was following orders, delivered the ambassador to a destination near the neutral zone, and...
I don't think we need to be preamble.
In fact, she was not a Vulcan at all, was she? She was a Romulan spy.
That's correct.
A spy whom you delivered back into the hands of the enemy.
Tell me, Captain, when the deception was revealed and she stood proudly on the bridge of a Romulan ship, did you make any effort to retrieve her?
No.
No. Even though you knew she carried Federation secrets she had been accumulating for years.
There was no chance of getting her back. We were deep in Romulan space. The safety of my crew was my primary concern.
The Enterprise could have been captured by Romulans. Captain Picard did the only thing he could.
Sati turns to him, stunned and furious.
Really, Lieutenant? And where were you while this traitor was on board the Enterprise? Where was ship security?
Wouldn't you say it is questionable judgment, Captain? Have a security officer whose father was a Romulan collaborator?
Worf rises, begins to move toward the podium.
Lieutenant,
Worf stops, sits. Sati continues to glance at the Starfleet Admiral, who looks increasingly uncomfortable and unconvinced by Sati's argument. She moves to her biggest gun.
Captain Picard, have you fully recovered from your experience with the Borg?
Picard's eyes go cold.
yes, I am fully recovered.
It must have been awful, actually becoming one of them, being forced to use your vast knowledge of Starfleet operations to aid the Borg.
Picard has assumed a tight mask. Sati, carrying her pad, moves in the general direction of the visiting Starfleet Admiral, plain to him, but not being obvious about it.
Just how many of our ships were destroyed? I have it. 39, with the loss of life measured at nearly 11,000.
She pauses to let this sink in. There is a stirring among the audience. She looks towards the Admiral, begins talking about Picard in the third person.
One wonders how this man can sleep at night, having caused so much destruction.
He looks hard at Sati, uncomfortable, losing patience with this. As Sati strikes back at Picard.
I question your actions, Captain. I question your choices. I question your loyalty.
She glares at the Admiral, who looks down at the floor. He's finding this harder and harder to endure. There is a small silence, and Picard's voice fills it, speaking softly but in a tone that commands attention.
You know, there's some words I've known since I was a schoolboy. With the first link, the chain is forged. The first speech censured. The first thought forbidden. The first freedom denied. Chains us all irrevocably.
Two bright spots have appeared on Nora Sati's cheeks. Her eyes burn into Picard.
Those words were uttered by Judge Aaron Sati as wisdom and warning. The first time any man's freedom is trodden on, we're all damaged. I fear that today, on this starship, we are forging that chain.
How dare you? You consort with Romulans and invoke my father's name to support your traitorous arguments. It is an offense to everything I hold dear to hear those words used to subvert the United Federation of Planets. My father was a great man. His name stands for principle and integrity. You dirty that name by speaking it.
The Admiral is now staring at her, dismayed by what she is saying.
He loved the Federation, but you, Picard, corrupted. You and those like you undermined our very way of life.
The Admiral wants no more of this debacle. He rises and starts for the door.
I will expose you for what you are. I've brought down bigger men than you, Picard.
The room is hushed. She turns around, see all's eyes on her. She now sees the Admiral's empty chair. She casts one glance at Picard, who holds her gaze coolly. She takes a breath, moves towards her table, sits.
I have nothing more to say.
Silence.
Perhaps this is awkward. We should just take a recess until tomorrow. Is anyone else hot in here?
Not loving this journey.
In the midst of it all, Nora Sati sits like a prim sculpture, hands folded neatly on the table, backed erect, eyes focused right in front of her. The room is a mass of movement and confusion, in the midst of which she is a rock in the stream, eddies swirling around her as she sits in perfect stillness at her table. In the observation lounge, Picard sits alone in the darkened room, staring out at the tableau of stars. Worf enters, pauses, sensitive to Picard's somber mood.
Am I bothering you, sir?
No, please come in, Mr. Worf.
Worf approaches.
It's over. Admiral Henry has called an end to any more hearings on this matter.
That's good.
Admiral Sati has left the Enterprise.
Picard swivels his chair around to face Worf.
We think we have come so far. The torture of heretics and the burning of witches is ancient history. And then, before you can blink an eye, it threatens to start all over again.
I believed her. I helped her.
I didn't see what she was.
Villains who wear black hats are easy to spot. Those who clothe themselves in good deeds are well camouflaged.
I think after yesterday, people will not be as ready to trust her.
Maybe, but it won't stop her. She, someone like her, will always be with us, waiting for the right climate to flourish, spreading disease in the name of liberty. Vigilance, Worf. That is the price we must continually pay.
The end.
Executive producer Rick Berman and Gene Roddenberry. That was so much fun.
That was
by the way.
Oh my gosh! When's next? What episode's next? I have nothing else to do. Let's just keep going.
Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed that dramatic reenactment and interpretation of Star Trek The Next Generation's The Drumhead. Remember, you can be a part of our BQN table reads by becoming a patron of the network over at patreon.com/BQN. They will be happening monthly from now on, and then you can catch them here on your favorite audio podcasting platform. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.